356 Division I men's and women's college basketball games to start the 2024-25 college basketball season on this Monday. And Donnie Rightside will watch each and every one. DRS, let's go big picture, though, to welcome people to this new year in college hoops. We start on the men's side looking at the national championship odds. Duke is the number 7 team in the country, and yet Duke, with an incredibly talented freshman class, 5 guys that will factor into John Shire's rotation, all ranked in the top 18 of the 2024 recruiting class, are a big reason why the Blue Devils are the favorites to win the national championship. And not just those 5 guys, but number one of one. His name, Cooper Flagg. He is going to be the number 1 overall pick in the 2025 NBA draft. He will play his college basketball season in Durham. Just behind, though, you will see Connecticut. UConn 11-1, the 2-time reigning national champs. Dan Hurley using this graphics board as further motivation for his Huskies team because he always finds an angle. Donnie, let's start with Connecticut. Will you be betting the Huskies at any point this year to win a 3rd consecutive national title?
I mean, there could be a chance. Like, I always talk about this as being the silly season, right, which starts now, early November, all the way through December. A lot of out-of-conference thing, a lot of getting your rotations down, a lot of learning about these teams before we actually get into conference play, which I love starting in January. Like, you want to tell me, like, mid-February through the end of April, fantastic. But this part is a little bit hard trying to get to know teams, and also much harder in this day and age of the transfers. Like, we were just going over, like, a big game tonight and saying, like, ooh, I remember this name from somewhere because I just don't know who these players are this early in the season. But the one thing I do know is I know who the coaches are, I know who the good ones are, and Hurley may be the best out of the bunch in the entire nation. So if I'm just looking without seeing the full roster for UConn at an 11-1 price, that sounds about right, because I know Hurley, come time for tournament time, this team, whether or not they're great to start the season, they will be great by the time they get to the tournament.
For sure, and they did lose a lot of the pieces that we know from last year's team, and of course the team even the year before that won the first national championship in stores. Donovan Clingan, Steph Castle, both lottery picks in the NBA. Tristan Newton, that steady point guard presence who did it all, is gone. Alex Caravan returns, talented freshman class for UConn as well. They added a couple of transfer pieces like Aiden Mahaney, I believe the name is. I might be forgetting his last name, a transfer from St. Mary's. UConn is going to be there. The Big East is going to be a great conference as well. In fact, the Huskies trying to make history. No team has won 3 consecutive national championships in men's college hoops since John Wooden led UCLA from 67 to 73. That's a 7, Pete. The most recent back-to-back national champs, and the result in that 3rd straight season. Duke in 93, bounced in the round of 32. 2008, Florida missed the tournament. We shall see about UConn again. They are talented, and Dan Hurley is the best coach, in my opinion, currently in college basketball. UConn will be a tournament team. How deep they go, that remains to be seen. Just one final point on the Huskies before we look at the rest of the country. UConn is 33-1 in non-conference action the last 2 seasons, including, of course, a perfect 12-0 in the NCAAB tournament, all 12 victories by double digits. The average margin of victory for UConn in non-conference action, including the tourney, in the last 2 years is 23.7 points per game. The only loss was against a top 5 Kansas team on a Friday night last December, DRS, in a wildly close game down to the buzzer in Lawrence against KU, who, by the way, the Jayhawks enter the year as the number 1 team in the preseason poll for a 2nd consecutive season.
Yeah, but you're also looking at that top, right? Duke, that plus 950 price. If you go down to 20-1, the furthest part there is Auburn. But I do want to focus on Duke and some things that we talk about just being fans of college basketball. Like when the hated teams have their good players and look like they might be able to go on a run like Duke. Like Cooper Flagg is a sensational player. Anybody reading up on what this kid can actually do for his age, they're going to be so much fun to watch, appreciate, and also hate at the same time. So I think college basketball is in a really good spot this year. If Duke is really good, they're going to be must-watch television all the way through, no doubt about it, Ben.
There are so many talented players on this Dukies team, of course, led by Cooper Flagg. But Con Newpol is there. Come on, Maliwak is there as well. A very talented freshman core. Tyrese Proctor returns. Mason Gillis, the transfer from Purdue, will provide some of that veteran experience. I'll just say this about the Blue Devils, that ACC price, okay, Final Four price, sure. We know now in this evolution of college basketball that veteran presence come the NCAA tournament and the month of March often win the day. So I would avoid the national championship price, especially being the shortest of any team entering the country. DRS, your thoughts on this? We found an interesting distinction. Of course, our beautiful show, The Early Line, is sponsored by the beautiful FanDuel Sportsbook, despite Donnie's battle with FD the last month or so.
We broke bread.
In certain spots, DRS, yeah, we're good now. Everything has been figured out there. In certain spots, Cooper Flagg, who was only 17 years old, turns 18 near the end of December.
Yes.
He has a price listed to win the Wooden Award, and in other sportsbook operators, he is the favorite. On FanDuel, he is not listed because he is only 17 years old and thus currently a minor. How will you use that to evaluate the individual award of the men's Wooden Award? What do you mean he is?
It's funny you just said that because we were always looking at that. I'm looking right now, John Warden, a winner, Cooper Flagg, Duke, plus 500 on FanDuel right now this morning. How about that? Because you're right about this. Kevin and I brought up this topic like a week and a half ago. Like, oh, can you actually? I have him right here on my screen. Yeah, he's right there on my screen. I'm watching. I'm looking at it right now. 5-1 price. But I get what you were saying, where he's 17, so some books won't allow you to operate and bet him. I have him right now, 5-1.
On
Should
what?
I bet
New
it right
Jersey?
now?
What site?
Show you the ticket? Yeah, New Jersey, FanDuel. I'm looking at it right now. He's 5-1. Yeah.
So this is just a behind the scenes thing. Different states, of course, have different odds available in robust markets. I often use the Indiana site to see all of those betting markets available.
You got to drive over today, Ben.
Is
Come on.
up there.
Drive over today, Ben. Come on now.
Because I actually think he's going to win the award.
Well, look at that. 5-1
So he's
price.
not listed on Indiana, though, DRS. Yeah. He's not here on Indiana. Huh.
Yeah, I was surprised. As Joe was saying in the background, too.
So
He's right about that. It wasn't there.
The Wooden Award favorite.